go get him again.
Welcome back to the Robe Zoe channel. I'm your host, Mark. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe. I'm going to hit you right up with that subscribe button. Smash the like button. This is going to be an informative video where a lot of content creators know, especially if we're in the game for a long time, and a lot of you newbies out there may not know this. So I'm going to kind of give you a way to navigate where these content creators go to these mega events, Scent Explore. And this one just happened in Milan here, Esxence. Now, a great event. Now, I don't want to put everybody in the same cookie jar, right? There's people that go there that have social media, but they go there to explore. And some people say like, "Oh, Mark, you're so jaded about the fragrance community. You don't know the stuff I've seen." Like, I was part of the building block of this YouTube community, and what our vision was, the older heads. If you didn't know, it was such kind of like a family. Like, I'm in Canada, and a lot of the content creators, there was a lot of Canadian content creators. I think there was like 4 or 5 out of like 20, we'll say. There was a lot of them in the States, and there was this sample box that we shared across the border, like mega sample box for us to just discover. Like, someone would say, "Hey, I just discovered Frederick Mall." It was new. Like, back then, it was like kind of like we're all discovering. And someone from New York would put like 12 Frederick Mall decants in there and send it out. And you would test and you would add more. And the whole thought process of the fragrance community, there was no on YouTube, is we were building it. And the way we were building it is that we wanted, a different platform and to share our knowledge and our love of fragrances. And it was very, obviously, there was no monetary objective here with us. And there's several instances why I'm so... Our fragrance community, as of today, if you're asking me, what is the most reliable, informative place to go, discover fragrances? YouTube, if you asked me 15 years ago, I would have said, that is a very good platform. I was part of it. I'm still part of it, but I'm very much ashamed for a lot of the stuff that I've seen. But it is the least reliable right now. If you're asking me, like, I should do a video on this. This is the most saturated platform: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Brands are handshaking deals with influencers that really skews the market. Like, if you're looking at it as just the face value of perfume, and all you know is TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for perfume, I feel bad for you, right? Like, the whole thought process of this new fragrance community, when I first came in, was just another outlet for people to, like, not a lot of people like to grab their information from reading. It was huge back then. There was people with websites that they would write, base notes, Fragrantica, to name a few. And honestly, if somebody asked me where could I get reliable information, YouTube is hard to navigate. Honestly, Instagram, TikTok, there's so much fluff. Now, that's probably another story, but that is kind of why I'm a little bitter and things like that. But one of the things early in my journey, and I was always about inclusive and all that. And when I was actually thinking of going to Esxence, this was a long time ago, like early 20s Mark. And I was in touch with smaller brands, right? I went to New York. I met a whole bunch of people, and it wasn't Free Bottle Brigade at that point. And I was kind of thinking about Esxence, and I was, I missed it. The one year I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to go. But I wanted to talk to these people that were going, right? Brand owners and people like that. And man, the interactions that I got from those brand owners, and these were like indie and small niche brands, really deflated my thought process of going to Esxence. Now, of course, I'm just one-sided at that point. We're going to call somebody Mr. Potato Head with fake teeth and bald head. That influencer, and I think it's more of an Instagram influencer, really ruined everything for me and those brand owners. There was, every single brand owner that I spoke to, this person is a true blue influencer, was aggressive to the brands, almost to stalkingly bad. It made me feel really bad that I was in this space, honestly. Like, basically telling them, give me a bottle. I came here, I spent so much on my ticket, I want a return of my ticket, basically, in perfume, as far as price, right? So if I spent $2,000 on my airfare and I spent $1,500 on a hotel room, I want $4,000 worth of perfume as an influencer. And very aggressive tactics that those brands, felt like, I may not go back to this thing, it's changed. And B, they were very kind of upset about the influencer realm and didn't really know if they even belonged in this kind of space. So that is a true thing. Like, this happens every single year. Now, not everybody's in the same cookie jar. Like I said, right? There's the up and coming influencers, as I call them, right? People that are trying to get likes, to get their name out to these brands, and trying to, any means possible, buying subscribers, buying views. And then there's, of course, there's always, some good. So I don't want to put everybody in the same cookie jar. There is some good people that go there, they discover, they do have social media, but they talk a little bit about their stuff, but they don't. And this is where the next 2 to 3 weeks, give or take, are going to be for you as a viewer, as a subscriber to perfume stuff on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You need to be careful. Either go hide in a bunker or navigate, and navigate smartly. And what do I mean by that? Is I'm going to give you some examples, and I'm going to kind of help you out a little bit. And this is not for the old heads. This is for the newcomers. So basically, what's going to happen at these events is there's after parties, there's free bottles given. There is brands that go there just legit. They just want you to experience their brand and discover their brand. They may launch their new fragrance, but they're not there. These brands, I'm not putting all brands in the same pile here. Some brands are just all about the artistic side of things. Discover at your own. We'll give you some samples. If you're interested in our product, you can buy it here and here. Perfectly fine. Then there's the brands that have actual business meetings with influencers. They're actually flipping it on it. How I said that aggressive influencer? Now there's aggressive no-name brands, aggressively trying to go after people that, Jeremy Fragrance was there this year. So you could see, like, in some videos that I don't subscribe to him, but you go on TikTok and he shows up sometimes, and there's brands like in the background, like brand owner with their stuff. They're like, check out my fragrance, right? I'll it's just terrible. Those after parties and business meetings. So they're talking about, okay, at launch of this product in March, they have business meetings with several influencers to do the same thing. So what to look out for? Okay. So first of all, the first thing you're going to look out for is the one thing that, if you're trying to find who's honest and not, you're going to see all these mega hauls. People come back from these things, mega hauls, and they kind of, they don't even suggest or even say that they got this stuff as freebie, PR, all that kind of stuff. They just go, I just came back from Italy, Esxence, and I have 20 bottles, mega haul, right? And the brands that, they had meetings with versus the ones that they don't, you're going to see the influence going high on a certain bottle, and then on the other bottle, just because they didn't really have that connection with that brand. They didn't have that meeting. They didn't have that, here, use this coupon code. That fragrance is kind of going to be on the wayside, but it's part of the mega haul, right? It's got to look good. You got to have 20 bottles in front of you that you purchased, or you don't even emphasize that you purchased it. You're just not saying that you got it for free or for PR. So be mindful of that. It's kind of hidden in that kind of thing. You're going to see a lot of these mega hauls coming in the next coming weeks. And so now you need to navigate and look at what our influencers going to use. Now, remember, a lot of these influencers, there's not too many, well, there was some bigger names, influencers that were there, but really you're looking at these mid-tier influencers, right? These Cal Colognes and the guy with the hair in the front of his face there. Those kind of guys, he was most likely selling their own fragrances, but they're also there for other reasons. So what's going to happen is they're going to use all the tricks in the book these are new contacts to them. These are new business opportunities for them. This is a new, let's get more bottles out of these. Like, I'm going to show you my influencer power, right? Coupon code here, hit this link there. This is going to be a huge rush in the next 3 weeks for these brands and these influencers to kind of see what the influencer can do for them. It's really all about that. It's very me, right? The brands, they're going to use several influencers. Those influencers that in the hindsight are going to start, pushing these things as best they can because they want their code used the most to get more from these brands. So the one thing I will caution you with, and again, it's tax season, so they're really going to emphasize that you got a lot of free money. You got a lot of money coming to you to spend. So I'd be wary of 10 out of 10s out of Esxence. Just be wary. Now, if several people are saying 10 out of 10 on one thing, the only thing, if you're really tempted, get a sample from not their link, from like a third party somewhere. That's my thought process if you're really interested. However, you got to be mindful of the people that are pushing the 10 out of 10, right? And there is going to be some people that went to Esxence legit, actually really like a fragrance, a particular fragrance, but you can tell the commercials. The commercials are going to be the exact same fragrance, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And the tricks are going to be, number one, compliments. Always compliments is trick number one. Trick number one is going to be, example here. I just came back from Esxence. I got this mega haul. This is the best fragrance out of this mega haul. Why? I wore this on day 3 of Esxence, and I was walking around and everybody was asking me what I was wearing, which brand, what. I was getting compliments like that. Or example 2, oh, I wore this on my way out on the plane. Everybody was telling me compliment. It's a strategy number 1. Strategy number 2, performance. Oh, this lasted all day in Esxence. I wore it on day 2. I could wear it till, it lasted all day. I went to the after party. I was still, I didn't refresh. I was still wearing this and it still was on my skin 14 hours later. Amazing stuff. So compliment factor, performance, coupon code attached to, link attached to, and also they'll try to, this is a tactic that Jeremy Fragrance used to use, now these new TikTokers are using as well, is that they will use that product that they know they're going to be pushing because they had the meeting with the brand early. They're going to use their TikTok other influencers to rate this fragrance, right? It's like a live kind of blind smell this, what do you think about it? And they're going to just gush over it. So just be mindful, right, of videos from these fragrances that are going to be coming out. Let's say they have a March 8th release date. You're going to see March 3rd or 4th or 5th. They're going to have a specific date that these influencers will release all their videos all at the same time to push this particular product. The more money the influencer gets, the more free bottles the influencer gets, the more you're going to see videos of this, the more meetings that the brand came in to really just be business minded. And another trick is, of course, it's going to be brands that you've never heard of. Now, it's always great to explore, but at the same time, influencers are using tricks of like, oh, I'm just going to compare this to a brand that fragrance that has been really hyped in the community that may be a little more expensive than this particular product. Those are another trick of the trade that they also utilize. So just be wary. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to see these Esxence hauls, my trip, this particular product's a 10, and they may have several of these in their hauls because they've taken meetings. And again, not everybody's like this, but you have to be careful on who you're following. So this is kind of like your navigation guide here of Esxence just ended, and there's going to be an influx of these kind of videos out there that you're going to see a brand that you've never heard of that is paying real money to these influencers through the business meeting that they had over the 4 days that they were in Italy. And, $500 to push my product to several influencers is going to be well worth it in marketing. So just be wary of what's going to be happening in the next coming weeks in our fragrance community. It's almost very it's discouraging that I actually have to give like a PSA. Not that I have to, but almost I feel the need to give out a PSA. Like, you know, I'm trying to combat and help out as much as I can the tomfoolery in this fragrance community. There's a lot of great content creators. They're not going to get the press, right? If I'm looking at the scope of the fragrance community and the legit amazing fragrance heads on YouTube that actually went to Esxence, ignored the business brands and the influencers and actually went and tried out the art out there, you know, the percentage of viewership that they're going to get is probably like 2% of the 98% fluff that we're going to be getting here. So be mindful of that, of the 10 out of 10s, beast mode projection, compliments galore when I was at Esxence with this particular bottle, right? Anything like that, I would say, you know, your tax money is better suited to ignore the next 3 weeks and see where those perfumes go. As far as like where, like write down a list of like the next 3 weeks, these Esxence bottles at 10 out of 10, okay? Write down a list of like, and I don't know them, right? I could do some big research and kind of figure out which brands were doing business deals and things like that. I'm not going to go into that to really expose, but just write down the 5 that are like 10 out of 10s, compliment factors, lasted all day. I had millions of compliments at Esxence. Write the names down of those fragrances. Wait 90 days, 60 days if you want. Go research those fragrances after the initial videos. Just see. Most PR, most of them, they made a business deal on one video. The going back home type of video, before launch video. So see where they are then. Is there any more videos coming out? There is going to be a follow-up to that in regards to there's going to be a lot of, I hate to say it, but suckers that are going to buy these products because of the influence. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of you know, subpar fragrances being pushed by sneaky salesmen, unfortunately. So there it is, my little warning of like, this comes out every single big, you know, Scent Explorer and all that, that there's just a big ball of business going through. And every year now, I just see it. Like it takes like 2-3 weeks to kind of wash it away. All you see is these infomercials of people. I just roll my eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, 10 out of 10, eh? Okay, let's see 6 months later. Totally forgotten. Where's the bottle? Oh, it's on eBay being sold by that same influencer. Yeah, exactly. So that's my warning. Yeah, just experience your social media fragrance experience in the next 3 weeks gently. Tippy-toe around things, and you're gonna see exactly what I'm saying. I'm calling it out there. They have to do it now. It's not like they saw my video and they're gonna be like, no. And if it makes, you know, if this video actually stops one influencer doing that kind of video and saying this is not worth it or all that, perfect. Disclose your stuff 100%. This is not a mega haul. You know, your video should start. This is what I got for PR. These are the brands that I actually had a sit down meeting with. 1, 2, 3, 4. These other 6 bottles, I did not have a business meeting. Their booth was just giving out bottles or samples, and that was it. That should be your video. Fully disclose, hey, I got a free bottle. I sat down and this is the business model. Yeah, be transparent. Yeah, 100%. Here's my coupon code. No 10 out of 10. You shouldn't be saying that. If it's a business, no, nope. Compliment factor, nope. Yeah. So anyway, there's my thoughts on that. Comment below. Let me know, especially the veterans out there in the fragrance community. Please, the more comments below that you've seen this kind of stuff, this ugliness in our fragrance community, we need to stop this. We do. And it's just like everybody else has a voice in our community. Give it out. And I'm very lucky that I actually have a voice that, you know, when I talk, people talk. Unfortunately, you know, some people say, no, this guy's like, retire, old man. Nah, I am going to be a thorn in your foot You're gonna start walking as an influencer, and I'm just gonna have a hard time walking. You better start running.